Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to talk about friendships, okay? Some years ago, maybe, I don't know, 3 years ago, I made a video about friends, not having many friends. So let's do an update about this. And I know many of you asked what's going on, if anything changed there. So I'm going to break this video into two parts. One, making friends with expats, and also another, making friends with Italians, because I don't want the video to run over and go over for too long, because I just don't want that. Okay, so let's start off by saying that making friends anywhere, any place, any country can be quite difficult in the first place, in the first instance. Making friends in England is it's not also a bed of roses. It's not that easy. I think as you become an adult, sometimes it can become a little bit more difficult to make friendships. I remember when I was at school, it was easy. I had my friendship group from primary school, and then I met new people at school. It was easy. University, the first day I was at university, I met all my friends. College, the same. It was so easy to make friends. In my working life, that's when things got a little bit more difficult. So now in Italy, with so many barriers and so many differences, yes, of course, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. But I also hear that Italians from Italy that live in the UK, they also sometimes find the same problem as well. They're like, oh, it's so hard to make friends. It's so hard. It can be difficult. It can be challenging. But let's talk about expat friends. All right. So for sure, I have definitely managed to make friends, but for numerous reasons. I've lost friends along the way. Things have changed along the way. Just many things have happened. But do I have friends, to answer the question from before? Yes, I have. I have made some friends. Okay? But let's get into this. All right. So when you come here, you're going to be so happy just to meet somebody, because you're going to be like, wow, another human. They want to go out. They want to explore the city. They want to do things with me. You're going to be so happy to do that. And that's fine in the first instance. When you first come here, make new friends, you're going to see other expats who are very happy to also be friends with you. But after that, sometimes I found in some cases you will find that initially you will bond on your experience in Italy, the things you like, the things that you don't like, and you will bond on those things. And then sometimes after those things, you've spoken about those things for a long time, they would just sizzle, the relationship would just sometimes sizzle away, because you have nothing in common besides from you both moving to Italy. Yeah, so that can definitely happen. And then after you're meeting them for drinks or dinner, after you spoke about yourself and they spoke about themselves, you will find that maybe sometimes you don't have anything to talk about besides from, the first thing in the first 10 minutes, what you talk about, Italy, yourself, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that can sometimes happen. That's a common occurrence. Another situation that happens when you meet expats in Italy, it can be that they move away. They could be the nicest people. You have a good time with them. You bond. You're just like, yes, I found somebody great. I found a good friend. And then after, guys, they move away. And this happens so much. Even with a friend that you might think is going to stay here, they seem like they have roots there. And it always seems so sudden when they're going to move away. So it's like, yeah, I'm moving. I'm going back to my country, or my husband needs to move. My boyfriend needs to move away for work. It can happen, and it does happen quite a bit. And if a person goes to, for example, moves to Italy alone, sometimes, and they're alone and they don't have any attachments, for example, they don't have a partner or any family here, it's quite easy for them to move around, if they've got that free spirit. So that's how you can sometimes lose friends along the way. Yeah, what I have found is that when you meet expats, you meet expats from everywhere. You're going to meet Brazilians, Colombians, what have I met? Just people from US. But sometimes they have their own customs, they have their own norms, their own beliefs, their own systems, their own their own prejudice. They have everything already that's different from what you have. They grew up different. Even sometimes people from the US, you think, okay, we speak the same language, but sometimes there's so many big differences from Brits and Americans, you know, even like down to small talk. For example, it might be easier to make a friend with a Brit because you have small talk as well. Sometimes you can do more small talk. You can talk about, did you ever watch EastEnders? Yeah, I still watch EastEnders. You know, if you watch EastEnders in EastEnders is a soap opera, by the way, that comes on in the UK. It's one of the big soap operas. I used to watch it up until maybe 3 years ago. I still watched it on YouTube in Italy. So, I mean, you have many points to talk about. You can talk about the schooling system in the UK. You could talk about the Prime Minister. You could talk about Selfridges. There's so many points to touch upon. Their stores are different. Their government is different. Their schooling system is different. There's so many differences. So that's something that you also got to get your head around, that everybody is different. I've noticed this as well, that some expats are just basically, they're on their solo journey and they want friends, but they don't really want friends. Or sometimes they don't know how to connect with people on a deeper level because they've been alone for so long, or, you know, they've been traveling for so long, or maybe they've been let down by people in the past, because you have to remember it takes a particular type of person to up and leave their country and move to a different country alone. Okay, so it takes a quite independent person to do that in the first place. So sometimes I wrote here the solo life, they're used to the solo life, and they've probably come across lots of friendships in the past, and they're just probably a little bit tired because they know that they're maybe not going to stay for a long time or whatever. So it just might be a little bit difficult to penetrate the shell of these type of people. I would say as well, when you come here and you're probably looking on Instagram and you're seeing lots of people with friends, expat with friends, and they appear to be having good time and they're doing all their meetups and they're together. Yeah, that's all well and dandy and very beautiful, but don't get carried away with that idea. I would say don't get carried away with that idea. And I would also say that quality friendships are definitely better than the quantity, how many friends you have. Having big numbers is not your main goal. I think your main goal should be to have, good friends. Even if there's 2 or 3, you've got 2, 3 reliable people that you can rely on. And I believe that it's very important to have friends here that you can rely on, because if you're not around your family, they are, they're your next thing, your next best thing, besides from obviously your partner and his family, and maybe you're single, so maybe you don't have that. So friendships, can definitely play an important role. So I would say be very picky and selective on who you do choose to be your friends. That's what I would say. I would say don't be desperate. In the beginning, you might be a little bit desperate and you might start to, that word is a bit wrong, isn't it, desperate? But you might be a little bit, lower your standard a little bit. But I would say just be careful of that. When also I notice when I'm speaking to expats, they always tell a story. Most of them tell a story like, oh yeah, I'm just tired of friendships. This ends up happening, that ends up happening. Sometimes they have quite a bit of story of something that happened. And I think we all have stories of friendships where we've been burnt in friendships. But I would say to you, when you do come with a clear, open mind that you want to make friends and have that clear energy of what you want. Kind of put the past beside you. Of course, you still got your standards and your boundaries, and I would say always have those, but come in clean, come in fresh. I always remember speaking to people and they have that and they tell me that straight away, like, oh, girls, I'm very cautious of women, or I'm very this, or this happened to me with my last friends that I made, and if you're telling me that, giving me that negativity and I don't really know you, it doesn't make me, it puts something plants a negative seed in my mind. So I would say when you're meeting new people, be positive. Be positive. But also I notice sometimes when those people are talking, about what they want from friendships, it doesn't really reflect what they're doing. They want something but that they're not giving. So I think as well, it's very important to check in on oneself to know that, are you that good friend? Are you that person that follows up on conversations? Or are you making an effort to call that person to meet up? Or are you just relying on or are you just relying on the other person to make the effort in the relationship? And sometimes you do find that sometimes the people that's preaching the loudest sometimes are just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So checking on yourself. Definitely many times along the way, I've reflected and I thought, you know what, in that friendship, I could have done a little bit better. Or maybe I could see how they could see it that way, or I could see something. You know, it's always good to reflect, especially if you keep getting the same result. Reflect and do something different, do something better. That's what I would say. This adds to my point as well. You know, again, in the past, I've met some expats where they've made me know that they've got a best friend back home. Okay. They made me know that they got a best friend back home and they are, you know, that's their best friend, or, you know, their best friend's going to feel upset about the situation that they're out with me, or their friend's going to feel this, or they're going to feel that. I mean, I don't even know how to respond to these things sometimes when people are telling me about their best friends and what their best friend's going to think. And they always have to let you know that they've got a best friend and their best friend's going to think this, or they're going to think that. I don't understand. We are grown adults. You can have a best friend and you can also make new friends. I don't know if it's a guilt situation where the person might feel guilty that they're going to form attachments with somebody else. Because of course, there's a high possibility that that's going to happen. And their best friend might feel, not feel the best about that when they're on Instagram and we're cheesing together. Of course, your friend's going to be back home and might feel like, she's replacing me. But I think you just got to really have a mature mentality, and also not to put that onto the new friend or the new expat friend that you're making, because, you know, to know as well is that not everybody is going to tick every box in terms of friendship. You might meet somebody that they're great at, they're only for going to church with, or they're for meeting up with coffees with. For deep conversations, they're probably not for that. So sometimes it's good to know where people fit in your life as well. Not one friend is going to be all encompassing and have everything that you want. So that's one thing to be mindful of. And what I would say is that just be prepared as well while you're here to spend some time alone. You know, it's important for you to be confident within yourself and to spend time alone. Take yourself on dates, go places alone. Honestly, don't get down. If you are already in Italy, and I know this is common, don't get down about not having friends. Do your best to put yourself out there. Make sure that you are also, emitting those good rays, and you're putting positivity out there, and then put yourself into situations where you're going to meet friends, and then you will eventually meet some good friends. I think you will. So don't get too down about it. You will spend a lot of time alone. And that's okay, especially in the beginning. Or you'll have periods where you have a friendship group, something might happen, or they might move away, blah, blah, blah. And you have a time where you're alone again, or, you have less friends. So that's what it is. Expect this. Don't always expect things to be, and stay on the up. Things like this, just like everything in life, guys. I will make another video about places to meet expat friends. And I also want to hit on in the next another video, qualities to look for in a friend. Okay, good qualities to look for, because if you're for example a solo person, or actually just if you're coming to a new country, generally you want a fresh slate. All right, and it's just what to look for: quality friendship, because that's what you want. You want quality, good friendships, people that respect your boundaries and your boundaries. What's the other one? Boundaries. Yeah, boundaries. That's the one. So I'm going to do another video on maybe red flags to look out for in friendships, something like that. I think that is literally the end of the video, guys. I can't add anything more to the video. If anything does come up, I will just add it at the end. So if the lighting is different or anything is strange, it's because I've added it to the end of the video. And I just remembered, sometimes I'm walking around, I'm like, oh, Oh, I should add this to the video. So yeah, for me, it's been literally up and down. Friendships have been like, it's been like this, from moving away to me having, my own situation going on where I don't have the availability to meet people, and to be that friend that somebody might want. So yeah, just many things have happened along the way, but I have hope. Have I met my friendship group? Have I met my Sex and the City group yet? I would say no. I haven't. But maybe I've been close to forming it. And also, I think I'm on the way. Let's say I'm on the way. I think Sex and the City is such an unrealistic standard anyway, isn't it? Because they don't even get along in real life, let's face it. All right then, guys. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in another video. Share some things. If you are an expat here, share some things that, you've noticed with other expats